Okay. First of all, thanks very much for coming on board and listening to my presentation tonight. Please feel free to put any questions you may have in the chat, or unmute yourselves at appropriate time. I'm just really going to run through the FA's progression pathway that they're changing for this season. I thought it was good. It'd be a good time to talk to you about it before I send out a link to signing up to your interest in being involved in it going forward. So that's where we are. If I just go through the slides for you, hopefully you can see those. Can somebody unmute them so just to confirm that is the case? I've got no support, unfortunately, tonight. Yeah, lovely, good. Okay, so in terms of our agenda tonight, I'm just going to go through what promotion is all about. I will talk about the youth pathway, which is something that is brand new. We'll talk about the male pathway and how that has changed. And then we'll talk about the female pathway, which I sent an email out about a week or so ago, and again, I'll follow that up. Expectations from a GFA point of view, what I think the benefits are about being involved in it, and the $64 million question, how you guys can apply for it. And then if you have got any questions, hopefully I'll be able to pick those up at the end. So first of all then, if we have a look at the overview. So from the FA's point of view, one of the things that they've been very conscious of in recent years is that it's been quite restrictive in terms of being able to make progress through refereeing levels, and it's taken, I think I was chatting to Pete Ellsworth earlier, it takes currently at the moment the quickest anyone has been able to get to the sort of Premier League is probably around 12 years, 11, 12 years, which of course is a long period of time and too long in many people's eyes. So what the FA have wanted to do for a little while now is to try and speed up that process based upon people's level of commitment. So as you can see there on the overview, this change in the pathway will create more progression opportunities for officials that are currently at level 7, 6 or 5, and also the youth levels. So the priorities are going to change to focus on giving referees greater control over their progression. So again, this will be down to individuals to decide if they have got that commitment to want to progress more quickly, then they'll be able to do so. It will provide a route for that expedited progression for those that are able to commit to doing more games. And it will instill a developmental sort of philosophy into grassroots refereeing. So we're not focusing now on making judgments on how good or otherwise people are, but actually rather focusing on how we can help them to develop going forwards. And it will also remove some of the barriers that are there at the moment to people making progress. So how does that work? Well, the new methodology will replace the annual promotion process. So those of you that have been involved previously will be aware that prior to last season, promotion was an annual thing. You applied at the start of the season, you went through the process through the season, and at the end of the season, a decision was made as to whether or not you were promoted. So this is going to be based on a number of appointments, completion of 3 online modules, and it's also going to be based upon, I can find my presentation again. Free online development modules. So again, a lot of these will be online rather than traditionally through actually attending events. And a difference now with support for and advice from matchday coaches. So rather than actually focusing on observers making a judgment, it'd be matchday coaches coming along and giving advice. There'll still be an element of completing the laws of the game. And for those going from 6 to 5, there'll still be a requirement to attend some face-to-face training. But ultimately, club marks will no longer be required. So I've got a question that's come up there. So are observations being scrapped? No, not entirely, but for 7 to 6 and 6 to 5, the idea of observations will be going. Yes, is the simple answer to that. So so that's where we are in that respect. In addition to that, now we are going to have a look at different criteria. So referees will be able to opt in at any point during the season. Someone's told me my presentation's disappeared, so apologies for that. Let me go back and see if I can reignite it. Hopefully that's reappeared now. Can someone confirm? Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Good. Right, so
gone again.
Sorry, Paul, can you turn your camera off for me? I'm not sure if that's having any effect on the bandwidth. So we could. Paul Russell. Thank you. Let's try again. Is it back?
Not yet.
It's back.
Lovely.
It's back.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, so so that's how it's going to change. I've got a couple of questions there around observations. The long and the short of it is there will be no observations at 7 to 6 and 6 to 5, and I'll pick up on that a little bit later as we go through. So criteria wise now, as I say, people will be able to be considered for the pathway at any point during the season. So the female pathway, however, is not going to change. That's still going to stay 4W to 3W. The promotion criteria will remain the same, and that will be an annual promotion that we're going through there. One of the other big differences now is youth referees, and if there's any on the meeting with their parents as well. In the past, what has happened is, so referees at 14 or 15 are as youth referees and were not able to be considered for promotion until they reached 16 and became level 7. Then they would have not been able to be part of the pathway, but now that's changing. So every youth referee at the new season starts, whether you're 14 or 15, will start this season as a Y1 and will be able to apply for promotion to Y2, as you'll see at the moment. The laws of the game tests that are going to be part of this process will be accessible online, and they can be taken individually at a time of your choosing, rather than requiring myself to set up a seminar, etc., for you to be able to have that. So that's again a difference going forward. The matchday coaches. So again, this is quite a fundamental change. So no observers now at 7 to 6 or 6 to 5. Matchday coaches will replace those. They, not surprisingly, will come from our existing workforce. So a lot of observers will be trained up to be matchday coaches, as will other developers, mentors, etc. And the training for that, for those of you that are interested in that role going forward, will take place after we've had a seminar here on the 19th of July. So watch this space on that one, and some more information will come out around that. The whole idea of the match day coach's role, though, is very much developmental. It's not about providing a mark or a level that you're operating at, but really just to support you going forward. So that's again a bit of a difference in terms of the way that will work. And the other thing that's going to be really quite a fundamental change is that promotions now up to level 5 on the male pathway will be processed on a quarterly basis. So the days of annual promotion that I alluded to earlier will go. So there'll be a promotion on the 31st of October, the same at the end of December, at the end of February, and then finally at the end of April. So those promotions will still be governed by ourselves from a GFA point of view to make sure that all the minimum requirements have been met. But again, the idea is that if people want to progress more quickly, they will have that opportunity to do so through those 4 windows that will exist there. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, nothing so far. Right, let's move onwards then. We'll look at the youth pathway. So this is, as I say, a fundamental change now, that all of our youth referees, whether they're 14 or 15, will start as Y1, but they can be considered for promotion at the start of this season. So to achieve promotion from Y1 to Y2, youth referees are going to need to do 20 games. And of course, again, looking at where they are as youth referees, 14-year-olds are not going to be able to referee anything older than under 13s, 15-year-olds, nothing older than under 14. So hence the under 14s and below for the 20 games. They will have 2 match day coaching visits. Again, no marking on that. And they will have 2 online development modules that they'll be expected to complete in addition to that laws of the game exam. Mini soccer will be applicable for the Y1 to Y2 progression pathway, but only, and it can also include within those number of games potentially tournaments as well. Okay, so quite flexible in the way that will apply. And again, this will be for those youth referees we've got at the moment that are very keen to make progress through the system, and will start it whilst they're youth referees. Obviously, when they become 16, they will automatically become level 7s. So whether they're Y1 or Y2, they'll immediately go to level 7 once they reach 16. Okay, so that's quite a big change going forward that hopefully will support the development of our youth officials that are keen to make progress before they become level 7s. The male pathway, as I say, there'll be some changes on that. That will now mean for level 7 to 6, and again, this is for referees that are age 16 and above, they will need to do 25 games. And 10 of those will need to be in adult football. So again, there is quite a big element of flexibility now, in that actually we recognise the fact that for referees who've just become level 7s as 16 or 17-year-olds are still going to be doing quite a bit of youth football. So only 10 of those games will need to be in adult football as part of the 25. Again, similar to the youth progress, they will have 2 match day coaching reports with no mark. They will also have 2 online development modules they'll be expected to complete, and they will also need to do an exam on the laws of the game online. All of those games, though, will need to be 9v9 or 11-a-side with offside in operation. So that's the difference. There'll be no mini soccer option as part of level 7 to 6. Okay, if we go on to the next bit, then just moving along, 6 to 5. So again, 16 plus, obviously. Again, 25 games as a minimum. The difference now is we're now going up to a minimum of 15 of those being in adult football. And the extra element that's brought in here, which is not dissimilar to where we are at the moment, is that they will need to do 5 games as a neutral assistant referee as well. So that will be ideally on one of our step 5 or 6 leagues. So either the Western League for those predominantly in the south of the county, or the Hellenic League for those in the north of the county. Again, 2 match day coaching reports, the same as the other 2. Again, with no mark. A difference again now that we are asking people to move up to more senior level, at level 6 to 5. There'll be 4 online development modules that will be expected to be completed. And in addition, there will be 1 face-to-face CPD session as well, where some development will take place in the classroom. There will also, as with the others, be an element on the laws of the game. Right. Question from Spencer: is there a maximum amount of time as to when you need to complete the games? The answer to that is no. As I say, you can go through them quite quickly to meet the criteria for those 4 windows that will appear, but you don't have to do that. You could take all of a season to do your 25 games, as would be the case at the moment. It's entirely up to you how quickly you do those 25 games. Obviously, it would need to be done within a season now. Okay. Question from Callum: can the assistant games also be academy games? The answer to that is no. They will need, if they're going to be academy games, they would need to be under 18. Okay, so they will need to be supply or under 18 academy games. Does the Stroud League games qualify? Yes, they do in terms of adult football. When do the Hellenic games need to be done? Again, those to meet the criteria, as I say, if you want to do it within one of those 4 options for getting promoted, then yeah, you can do it within the first one, or by the second one, or by the third one. It's entirely up to you how quickly you do them. The idea will be this will be driven by how keen you all are to go through it more quickly, or if you want to take your season to do your 25 games, that's fine. That's entirely up to you. And obviously at the moment, that's how it would have been anyway. You wouldn't have been able to do it any quicker than that. What we're saying though is somebody potentially could be a level 7 at the start of the season, wants to get their games in to get to level 6 quite quickly, does that by the end of October, meets the criteria, then applies to go to level 5, and then looks to get their 25 games and their 5 lines in. Again, they might do that by Christmas potentially, or by the end of the year. So potentially they could go from level 7 to level 5 by the end of December, having only applied at the beginning of August. That is possible. Again, that's quite a challenge, and that's quite a commitment in terms of the number of games that you want to do, but that is potentially possible. Question, Mayor: are we still saying friendlies don't count? Has to be in a registered league? Yes, we are, Callum. Yeah, ultimately, again, we want these games to be games as part of a league or a recognised cup process. Question from Mark: can you apply for level 5 from level 7 if plenty of games have been previously refereed? No, you will need to go 7 to 6 to 5, Mark, for that to be met. But you can certainly go through it still very, very quickly. Do last season's games count? No, they will. This will be from the start of this season. Okay. Any other questions before I move on to the next slide? Okay, let's move on then. So that's level 7 to 6 and level 6 to 5, and obviously the youth progress. What I'm going to touch on now is level 5 to 4, where the changes are less so than in the more junior section. So again, level 5 to 4, again 16 plus, as is the case now. There will need to be 15 games as a level 5 to 4 that will need to be done between the 1st of August and the 30th of April next year. There will still be, as is the case now, 10 games as an assistant referee, and again those will need to be done on as a step 6 or 5 leagues, so the Hellenic or the Western League, and again those will need to be done between the 1st of August and the 30th of April next year. This is a difference to the current 5 to 4 progress, though. We only now need 4 observations, so that has dropped down from the 5 that sits currently. The observations, though, will be based on the current level 5 to 4 observation form, which gives a mark out of 100, and an average mark of 70 will need to be met. What the FA are looking for is one of the observations ideally should be with non-club assistants, so ideally with neutral assistants, which again is obviously a very important aspect in terms of you moving up to level 4, where you'll be working with neutral assistants every week. So hence the requirement for that to happen. That is something that we will need to manage within the county as to how that works. It may possibly be that 5 to 4 candidates will still be operating on the county league going forward. That will be our aim, and ideally one of those games on the county league will be with neutral assistants. That's something we can look at, or potentially it could be that it's an under 18s game and we get neutral assistants appointed for that. That's something that we'll look at, the sort of practical application of that going forward. But watch this space. What hasn't changed is, again, this is going to be a requirement for you if you're going from 5 to 4 to attend the FA's online promotion seminar. And again, you will need to take an FA Laws of the Game exam, which is exactly the same as there is at the moment. Question there, any fitness requirements for 5 to 4? Watch this space, Christian. I'm going to come to that in a moment. So sorry, Luke, questions of 5 to 4. Do all these games need to be Hellenic or Western? No, they don't. Those are the lines, Luke, not the middles. OK, again, what I'm looking for 5 to 4, as has been the case this year, is that most of those games will be refereed within the Gloucestershire County League, because that is the best experience for you to prepare yourself going to level 4. OK. But lines certainly will be Hellenic or Western. So going on to the next bit, which will cover the Christian's question there. The fitness test will need to be done between 1st of June just gone and the end of December this year. I will be collating when we will run those fitness tests. What I'm looking at the moment is to piggyback off the FA tests, which are running in July, August, September and October. So watch this space on that. I will be in touch with you. One of the things I would say that there has been a change in the level 5 to 4 fitness tests. So this is in line now with what our current level 4s are taking. So there were some tests this weekend. There'll be some more next month. And it's a 17-22 interval run. So what does that mean? Well, what that effectively means is it's similar to what has been run at more senior levels, so at the Football League level and for level 3s last season. There will be a long run, which will effectively be 40 laps. Basically, there's an expectation that you will run for 75 meters and you'll need to complete that 75-meter run within 17 seconds. You will then walk for 25 meters and you have 22 seconds to do that, which is almost like a recovery. Then you'll do another run which will be for, again, 150 meters in 17 seconds before you have another walk for 22 seconds, and that will be completed over 40 laps. So as you can see, it's an interval run. It's something that I will explain more for those of you that sign up to go in 5 to 4 going forward. And the other element will be what is exactly the same as at the moment, which is 2 50-meter sprints, both of which that will need to be done within 7.5 seconds. So that's where we are. Just looking, question there. Yeah, 400-meter track was the question. Yeah, that's exactly what it will be. Okay, 400-meter track. And then the last bit there, you will need to be a level 5 as at the 30th of April to be considered to go to level 4. So again, it is possible that if you've reached level 5 before the end of December and you're able to do the fitness test, you could still potentially be considered to go to level 4 by the end of the season, but it would have to be done by the end of December to meet that criteria. So again, if you think about the earlier criteria, there is a chance that you could be a level 6 at the moment. You could still be considered to go to level 4 by meeting the criteria to get to 5 firstly, and then be considered to go to be nominated for 4. Right, if we go on to the next slide, the final bit around level 4 promotion, level 5 to 4 promotion, is that as a county, we will still be feeding back to the FA on 5 areas on how we consider you as an individual in that process. So, sorry, the areas out of 5, 3 areas, and we'll be marking out of 5. So one of them will be your administration, what your communication is like with us and the leagues that you operate on, and finally your suitability to go up to level 4. And you'll be basically graded by us either very poor with a 1, unsatisfactory 2, satisfactory 3, good 4, or excellent 5. Okay, so that'd be the final part of that consideration. Question from Christian: just 1 promotion slot to go 5 to 4? Yeah, because of the number of observations, Christian, that will need to happen. So we're looking at 4 observations to get you from 5 to 4, and so that's where we're looking at the moment. Okay. Right, last bit on there, as is the case at the moment, just because we nominate you to go to level 4, the final decision on that will ultimately be determined by the FA promotion panel. Okay, so that's, you know, need to be mindful of that going forward, that even if we put you forward, it will still be the FA's final call as to whether you're going to be promoted to level 4 or not. Any questions on what I've gone through so far before I go on to the women's pathway? No, nothing appearing at the moment, so we'll move on then. So the women's pathway is something I did send out some information on that earlier. And so I'll just put a bit of information around this. So within the women's pathway, those of you that want to operate within the women's game, so whether that's at youth level or at adult level, if you are under 16, you will be a YW, a youth women's referee at the moment. As soon as you reach 16, you'll automatically be promoted to 4W. The promotion from 4W to 3W is controlled by ourselves as the county FA, but you need to express an interest to me prior to the start of the season if you want to be considered. And I did go out to make that request recently, and again I have had some requests for people to be considered as part of that pathway, and again my thanks to those that have come back to you on that. So in terms of moving from 4W to 3W, the requirement here is that you've done a minimum of 1 season and you've done 20 games within that. You also need to be needed to have completed 3 assistant referee appointments. Ideally, those will be on FA Women's National League games, although that won't always be the case. And you should have a minimum of 3 observations on women's games where you've met the standards of expected or above. And again, it's similar to where we are on the level 5 to 4 promotion. So it's using the same form. And again, there will be a requirement to complete a laws of the game exam at that point as well. In terms of how the pathway looks within the county, so if you are a youth referee operating within the women's game now, you would probably be operating in the Bristol Girls League or the Gloucester Girls League in the north of the county. When you move up to 4W, when you reach 16, you'll probably be refereeing on the Gloucestershire Women's County League or aligning or refereeing on the South West Women's Regional League. When you move up to 3W, you will, sorry, I've gone back off the wrong slide there. You'll go into the Women's National League to run the line and the South West Regional League. And then as 2W refereeing on the Women's Championship, and 1W you are operating on the Women's Super League. Okay, so that's the women's pathway in a nutshell. From our perspective, we're obviously looking to get you from the green to the blue there, 4W to 3W, and then we would be nominating you to go upwards to 2W and above. And that's something that, again, I'll be putting more information about onto the website, etc. And those of you that are interested in that, please get in touch with me and I'll send out some more information to you. Okay. Our expectations as a county then, where are we? So for all of the changes in the pathway and the ability to go through quite quickly, then that obviously means you are going to need to be readily available to officiate games. So if you want to move through quite quickly within the pathway, then that goes without saying, you're going to have to be available. Your administration needs to be really, really top drawer because, again, a lot of this is going to be you taking responsibility yourself in terms of updating your own log, and we'll be sending information out about that. The FA will be providing a log that you can log into to put your own games in there. You will be receiving feedback from the matchday coaches that come out to you, both positive but also some developmental, and again it's about taking those messages on board in the right spirit to enable you to progress. You'll need to attend various CPD events. Most of those will be online, as I alluded to, although at 6 to 5 and 5 to 4 they may be actual physical CPD events. It goes without saying, as part of your duties as the referee, you'll need to be submitting any misconduct that you administer in games within 3 days of your fixtures. There is going to be a £20 fee to be part of the promotion pathway now, and that'll be one fee no matter how many times you look to progress during the season. And again, that we would look for that fee to be paid by the beginning of August. I'm looking for interest for the pathway to be with me by the end of this month, really, by the 1st of July. So watch this space on that one. As I said, when I send out more information to you. And just as I mentioned a moment ago, there is an expectation you'll be completing your own game tracker as you receive your appointments, just so you can show the games that you've done as you are progressing through. Any questions on any of that lot before I progress a bit further? Okay, nothing so far. Let's move on to the next slide then. So what are the benefits of the pathway? Well, as I've already alluded to, I think the biggest benefit for me is the opportunity to progress quite quickly up the refereeing ladder for those you that want to. It's not going to be for everyone. I'm not expecting all of you to want to do sort of 60, 70 games in a season in order to make progress through a couple of levels. That's fine. But equally, for those of you that want to, the opportunity will be there. Question from Callum there. Can women pathway games also count to male pathway? Yes, you can be they can be, Callum, and they can be counted on both pathways. Yeah, is a simple answer to that. Yeah, to answer your question. The other benefits, as we say now, one of the things that I know people have had some concerns about in the past is getting judged on a level of performance by observers and getting a mark, etc. Well, we're moving away from that now. The whole idea of 7 to 6 and 6 to 5 now from match day coaches is that we are looking to help you develop. So we're not looking to make a judgment on where you're at. It's just helping you develop. When you go to 5 to 4, clearly you are moving up to the first level of the national league system, and you will get judged on a level of performance, because we want to make sure when you reach level 4 you are good enough to operate on the Western League or Hellenic League, as it will be in this area. So that's certainly a big benefit. You will get an opportunity again to work with various GFA referee developers as we go through. You're going to get some continuous professional development throughout the season. So whether that's online or an actual physical workshop, there is an opportunity there to receive guidance and advice that will help you to develop as you progress. You have the opportunity for developmental games as you go through. And then the final bit there, and again, I know this is something that went on hold a little bit during lockdown, but we will have the opportunity again for people to be involved in the FA's Centre of Refereeing Excellence programme, which is a regional programme. And again, we'll be looking to nominate people to go into that on an annual basis. So watch this space. Question from Andrew: what is the opening date to apply for promotion? When I basically send out the information, Andrew, so watch this space. So I will be going out with a link that you can all sign up to show your interest on where you are at the moment. On that link, it will ask you what level you are at the moment, what you want to apply to be part of, and so on and so forth. So watch this space. That'll be coming out tomorrow. So again, you'll have the opportunity to sign up from them. Callum has asked me a question as well. The question, Callum, I got a question from Callum Taylor Barry around changes from 7, 6 and 5 to 5C, 5B and 5A. That has been talked about. That will happen in due course, but for the time being, those of you at level 7, you're still level 7. Those of you at 6, you're still 6, and those of you at 5, you're still 5, and that's not changing at the moment. What is changing is the criteria to how you progress. So hopefully that answers your question, Callum. Going into the last bit there, and that sort of is the bit that I mentioned already in answering Andrew's question. So I will be sending out a link to apply for promotion tomorrow, and that'll be on the website as well. So you'll be able to just follow the link, show your interest there, and then I'll be back in touch around how that's going to work for you. Ideally, I want to have some clear indications from people in the next sort of 10-12 days as to their interest going forward. Although, as I've said, there is an opportunity for people potentially to apply during the season if they're going 7 to 6 or 6 to 5, as I've already alluded to. But first indications ideally by the 1st of July. Any other questions so far? All gone quiet there. My final slide really there is quote from Bo Jackson: set goals high, don't stop till you get there. I think the long and the short of it really is this whole change in the promotion pathway is aimed at making it far easier for people to move through the lower levels of refereeing quite quickly to get up towards level 4 for those that want to. There's no expectation for people to suddenly all want to become level 4s, because again, as you'll have alluded to from what I've said earlier, the criteria for 5 to 4 is still quite stringent. There's still going to be 4 observations. There's still quite a lot of games at the high level and quite a lot of lines as well. Question from Andrew Parrish. So if the 25 to go from 6 to 5, 15 need to be adults. Sorry if this has already been answered, but can academy games count towards the other 10? Yes, they can, Andrew. Yeah, no problem at all with that. So as long as 15 are with an adult, then that's fine. But yeah, certainly the other 10 can be within the academy structures. So those you that are aware, obviously I'm appointing to the academy games up to 15, 16s and indeed to the line on 18s as well. So yeah, hopefully that answers that. Thank you, Andrew. Any other question? Yeah.
Yeah, so can I ask the question? It's easier than typing for me.
Okay.
Just in terms of within the season. So if you look at 7 to 6 and then 6 to 5, you complete your 7 to 6, let's say halfway through the season. Are you saying that if you then want to go 6 to 5, if you got through kind of your 15 of the, I can't remember how many games it was, the 20 in that last season, you can't carry them over then to the next season?
No.
You've got to start again?
No. Shoot. Basically, you'll need to so if you do the 20 games to get sorry, it's 25 games to get from 7 to 6.
Yeah.
If you want to then go to 6 to 5, you need to do another 25 games and 5 lines. So that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be something that's going to be for everybody. It means a hell of a lot of games if you're going to do it in that short space of time in one season. However, those that want to do it, the opportunity is there. And I know there are referees around the county that have done 60, 70, 80 games upwards this season who would quite happily do that. But that's not going to be for everybody. So that's why it is a very, very flexible process. And it means there's 4 windows. So you can achieve it by the end of October, by the end of December, by the end of February, or ultimately by the end of April. It's entirely up to you as to when you want to do that. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
No problem. Any other questions? Do friendlies count? No, Alex, they don't. The part of the idea of this more flexible pathway is again to encourage referees to do more games. That's sort of one of the real positive byproducts of this. So whereas at the moment there may be referees out there who would have applied for promotion and done their 20 games in a season, got their promotion, and that would have been fine. Now they might be thinking, actually, I'd quite like to get from 7 to 6 to 5 in a season. So they're going to have to do double that to get promoted, and hence why the encouragement is to do more games within our current league structure. Question from Spencer. Yeah, how many games? 7 to 6? I think I'm right in saying 25. Yeah.
I've got a question, Roger.
Yes, far away.
As a trainee referee, so I'm still on my first 5 games.
Yeah.
Will they be included in this first 25 for level 7 to 6?
No, you'll need to finish your 5, get signed off as a level 7, and then you start again. Yeah.
Okay, great. Cheers.
Okay, no problem. Adult tournaments like the Dave Arkle Cup. Dave Arkle Cup, clarity. What is the actual structure of that? How does it work? Sorry.
Hi, Roger. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically this is a tournament which is usually set up with the likes of Uli. They're all Strode League teams. And basically what they do is like a memorial cup. And at the end of the season, 12 teams get together. They play a round robin of league games. And then the last 4 standing play a semi-final. Then there's a final played.
Okay. Are they 90-minute games then, Mark?
They are full 90-minute games. 11.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, again, it's a formalised tournament that's obviously played. I haven't got a problem with that. What I don't want is just general pre-season friendlies that people are doing, which, dare I say, lack that sort of competitive edge on occasions. Not always, I appreciate, but sometimes they do. Hence why I want it to be more structured games, and that's what the FA are alluding to as well.
Yeah, the Dave Oracle Cup usually gets played, Roger, at this point in the season now, around June, July usually.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I happy for those to be considered going forwards. That's not a problem. But again, it would need to be from the beginning of July onwards to be considered for next season. That's all I would say. This season goes until the end of June, obviously. Yeah. Okay. Mark, question from 5 to 4. Yeah, there is. Happy to pick that up with you offline, Mark. Is the answer to that one? Yeah, I'll pick that up with you if you want to have a chat with that at some point. I can talk to you a little bit more about 5 to 4. Not a problem. Any other questions?
Yeah, Roger, would it be possible to have a chat tomorrow? Because I've got a change in my circumstances potentially occurring where I may end up out in Saudi Arabia.
No problem. Happy to pick that one up offline. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you tomorrow.
No worries. Aidan, when will the recording be uploaded? As soon as I've downloaded it and sorted it, Aidan. So watch this space. It'll be on there tomorrow. I'll get it on the website, and I'll look to send a link out for you guys as well, so that you can access it, because there are obviously people that weren't able to be involved tonight that are interested in hearing what we've talked about tonight, and including your questions. Thank you. Copy the slides. Yeah, I'll put those out there as well, Mark. No problem. Anything else? Thank you for your feedback, Mark. Appreciate that. Thank you for your time in listening to me tonight, guys. Hopefully that's given you a taste and whetted your appetite for those of you that have got progress to move forward quite quickly. As I said, more information to follow, but I thought it was good to just have a chat about this now, because it is quite a step change in terms of what the FA are offering going forwards. And the more you that are interested, the better. Thanks for your time. I'm going to sign off now, and I will see you all soon. And I will, as I say, send the recording out and some more information tomorrow. Thanks again. Cheers, guys.